at this nudist colony. He was no
I never
different than saying he
inferred,
drove by an airport,
Mr.
therefore I
Jew.
flew an airplane.
Mr. Jew, I never inferred that I was there, just that I drove by. That's all.
I understand. Well, but it was left to be disseminated by the
Well, that's where you jump
purposes.
to. I don't see how you could jump from me driving by a place and me being in,
Oh, I'm a pretty
around,
good
or
jumper. You'd be
at
surprised.
that location.
I'm a pretty good jumper, but you'd be surprised. So how many people are listening to you right now? 23 listens.
Really? I'm
That's what it said.
surprised. Usually it's
As
just
soon
4
as
or
the one Angry
5.
Jew, as soon as the one Angry Jew comes on, your numbers will go up.
You know, that may very well be true. It's the resonance of your voice. How
Especially
do
if
you
Bill
deal
and I
with your
are on
voice's
together.
ego? How do you
I'm,
deal with the ego of your voice? It
I
must have a
don't know.
big ego.
It does. I'm told that when Bill and I are together, that we're producing very good radio.
There's something about the two of you, the dynamics of the two of you,
Tell me about it.
that
What
is
is it?
appealing. Well, I'm going to.
Right.
You know, you're very well versed on different topics, and Bill is well versed on other topics and not so versed on others. And it seems to go fairly well. I like that
I ground
batter,
Bill. I think of
banter.
myself as the ground wire.
We all.
Oh, I don't think we have to worry about the Israelis nuking Iran. I'm sure
Yeah, I was
that's
reading
coming.
the same thing. I'm like,
I'm
really?
sure that's coming.
Now, I like Iran. I like the Iran that it used to be under the Shah of Iran back in the 70s. They've gone downhill since then.
Unbeknownst to most, under the Shah of Iran, Jews were the most oppressed.
True.
There is a fatwa in Iran by the Ayatollah Khomeini that the Jews are not to be bothered.
But they do have to register.
I don't know about this registration.
They do.
The Jews in Iran are treated well because they are thought of as citizens of they're Iranian citizens first and Jews second.
But they are registered as Jews. You have to let them know where you live, where you work, and the opportunities are not as great. There's a show, I think it's called The Hope of Iran, or The Hope, something like that.
Basing this on one show?
No. And also a different show, and some blogs I've read, and I find it fascinating the way a Jew lives in Iran. They live in fear.
I don't think they do.
Well, maybe I'm wrong. I'll do some more research on it.
I believe that is propaganda that we are led to believe by the people that want to
It could be. It could be. I've read and listened to 6 different sources, so...
Yes, well, there's a video, several videos, but there's one video of Ahmadinejad meeting with rabbis, 12 or 13 of them. And I've never seen anybody so respectful as him in this particular meeting. It was a cordial meeting. Everybody was smiling. He was extremely gracious. So I tend to believe, and since the second largest population of Jews in the Middle East outside of Israel is Iran, I tend to wonder where all this information comes from.
I'm looking at a few things here, see if there's anything more.
I believe it's called
valid.
Propaganda.
You know, it could very well be, but
Oh, it very well is.
I'm definitely going to look that up more.
There is, listen again to what I said.
Iran
The Ayatollah
executed my
Khomeini-
grandfather.
The Ayatollah Khomeini issued a fatwa. Now, under the Shah of Iran, who we installed, the Jews were treated like shit, but not under the Ayatollah. The life for Jews in Iran got appreciably better under the Ayatollah than it did under the Shah. The Shah was a dickhead.
Well, I mean, here's this man's grandfather being executed in Iran. This is from 2015. Let's see when his death is.
So one death in Iran. What was
Well, I
he
just
executed for? For being a Jew or for raping somebody?
one moment.
See, that's important.
Well, no, I was waiting for it to scroll down so I could read more of it.
Yeah. But you're doing a show, Angela, and now is not the
Hmm.
time for research.
You know, you're right. Maybe we can talk about that another time.
That's right. You should bloviate now and then
There's
do
a
your
book
research.
called Esther's Children for more on Jewish history in Iran. See, Homan's Shoshar's Esther's Children. So maybe I'll read that. Maybe I'll read it. Looks like
See,
a good
there's
information.
only three religions that the regime in Iran recognizes.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, Islam,
Mm-hmm.
Christians, and Jews.
Do you think they recognize Christianity?
Yes, they do.
Hmm. Well, I'm definitely going to look into that a little bit more.
I think you should.
I think
Now,
things were
I'm not
better
saying
underneath the
the same
Shah.
thing. I'm not saying that the same thing exists in Iraq or in Syria, but in Iran, and most Iranians who you meet here in the United States are very educated, highly educated.
Mm-hmm.
They're not idiots over there.
No. No. But before the Ayatollah, they had women that were architects. They had wonderful hospitals, wonderful universities. And then after the fall of the Shah, a lot of that went away.
Well, you keep saying about the Shah, but the Shah was most oppressive to the Iranian people, not just the Jews.
Well, it depends on which one you're talking about, the first or the second Shah.
The second Shah, the one that we put in.
We put in both of them.
Well, I don't know much about the first Shah. The second Shah, not a nice guy.
No, he wasn't. You are right about that.
You've been saying all along what a nice guy he was. Why'd you change your tune?
Because I'm thinking of the first Shah.
I see. But this is where it gets confusing. See,
Well,
when
I
we have
focus on
George
him.
Bushes, when we have two George Bushes as
Mm-hmm.
president, it can get very confusing.
True.
One is sort of innocuous and not entirely dangerous, but the first one was behind a whole lot of shit that went down in this country.
Well, yeah, let's look at the first George Bush. I think he was dangerous because he knew how to hide his shit. He
Who
knew.
did?
George Bush Sr.,
That's
the
what I'm
daddy.
talking about.
He's the dangerous one.
What I just said.
Okay, see, it gets confusing. I thought you were talking about the younger one, the dumb one.
I said
You
that
know,
too. See?
just.
Both of them.
I mean, Jack Ruby had worked for George Bush back in 49, 50. And that's never really
See,
been
now
brought
this
out.
is where you agree with Debbie Daly. I think I'm beginning to think, is there an open door here for reconciliation with Debbie?
Hell, no, don't even bring that up. That's not going to happen. And I happen to know the Rubenstein family, so I think I have inside information a little bit more than that dumb piece of shit. I mean, come on. At
I'm
least,
sorry, you're reacting to something I haven't heard. Maybe you should enlighten me.
well, that ex-fiance of mine that I talk about, he's
The lawyer.
he's a Rubenstein. His family's a Rubenstein. Jack Ruby was his cousin. And yes, this guy's older than I am. And I met his uncle, who was at a nursing home, who died a few weeks ago, by the way.
He's a lawyer.
Uh-huh, yeah.
What
Well, he
kind of
doesn't
lawyer?
work as a lawyer anymore. He's had like 5 businesses that he built up, sold them, got another one, built that up, sold it. And now he's running somebody else's business just because he likes building up businesses.
Well, a
So-
lot of people are always minding somebody else's business, so that's
Well, he even took a job to help people build up their businesses for next to nothing. And that's when I met him, when he was poor. He's not poor again. So,
next to nothing. That's very un-American.
well, whatever. But anyway, I heard so many stories from my ex-fiance's uncle, about that strip club that he had up in Chicago. How he kept trying to set him up with all these girls.
I heard Steve Uncles clean the bathrooms there.
maybe. I don't care. I mean, I really don't know, Steve. Could care less. But I did hear a lot of interesting
Well,
stories.
Steve
And
is a
especially
Steve is
Uncle
a kept
Joe.
man.
See, this is what they don't talk about with the Rubenstein family. There's an Uncle Joe. And I won't say what his last name is, but
Uncle Joe Rubenstein.
it's not a Rubenstein,
Oh,
but he's in that family, but he has a different last name. And the Kennedys would come to him because he was big in the Democratic Party. The Kennedys bowed down to him. Eleanor Roosevelt came to this uncle. Fall Rivers. Fall Rivers is where he was located. And I would hear all these stories, and my jaw would just drop and drop and drop. This family has been so
let me ask
integrated.
you, how many inches is a jaw drop?
My case, about 6,
All right, thank you.
just I was just
I
like,
just needed
wow,
clarification
the
on that.
the integration of the Democratic Party and the Rubenstein family, it's strong. It's really strong. So no wonder he felt so emotional when the president. But it wasn't just that. I mean, we know it's not that. He was paid. Jack Ruby was paid to beat up people with the Brown Party, I think it was called, the American Nazi Party. They were
Brown party.
yeah, in California. They were having some big conference, and he was paid to go over there along with some other people and beat them up, which he did.
See, I think
You know.
Mr. Midnight Movie is part of that party. The Brown Eye Party, right?
Maybe, maybe. The Turtle Party, I think, is more his party.
What kind of party?
The Turtle Party,
The Turtle Party.
like the poop almost comes out and then it goes back in.
Are you fixated on this as well? Are you?
No, he's talked about it. I think it's funny.
I see. So you're not fixated on these scatological.
No, you brought it up. The Brown Party, brown-eyed. Well, whatever. Just
I just said the one eye. I didn't say the. Well, I didn't
one
say
eye.
Brown.
Well, whatever. I don't have any of my music. I wanted to talk about Rand and her worldview and how the Speaker of the House.
Wait a second. You don't have any of your music? What does that mean?
Well, because on this thing it says your playlist is empty, and I have like 300 hours of songs and
Oh, I
clips.
see.
And
Are you using the application versus the
Yes.
web-based?
yes,
And you got your Skype to work in that?
yes.
I couldn't get mine to work in my Mac.
Well, I do not have a Mac, and I'm borrowing this computer because mine's so slow right now. So I need to get an Apple. That's all I need. Definitely need an Apple.
No, what you need is to reinstall your old computer, and it'll breathe some new life in there.
Well, I've been downloading a lot of files, and I have a lot of files on that particular blue computer. And then I was going to
Downloading files doesn't
reinstall.
slow down the computer per se.
Well, no, like onto a flash drive. I'm trying to get rid of all the files so I can reinstall the system. There's just so many.
That's a good idea. There you go.
But that was my plan. It's just taking longer than I thought.
Yes.
So,
I'll tell you, what are you up to now? You were 23. Let me refresh my screen. 25. What has happened to Spreaker, Angela?
I think.
Do you think I killed it?
Oh,
I did
no,
kill-
absolutely
I've killed
not.
I've killed BTR. That's
No,
certain.
you did not. That was the dumpster.
No,
Sorry.
I
No,
killed.
you don't kill things. You're a good person.
I am.
Yes, you are.
Well, I
Yeah,
scared
you're
a lot
just
of people.
misunderstood. That's
I
all.
scared a lot of people off of BTR.
Well, there's a lot of stupid people on BTR. No wonder they got scared.
Yeah, but they were much more fun to troll.
That might be true. I'm thinking of nice, fond memories. Bill and
it's-
I had fun on that platform. We had a lot of
It's
fun.
difficult to troll smart people.
Well, because I doubt they care. I mean,
Well, I don't know if they.
you have to have a low-level thinker that will respond that way, and
I don't know. There's a lot of people that were good troll material on BTR.
Oh, that's true. Mr. Solution. He wouldn't even talk to me. He would not even talk to me because I knew how.